this, like, the perspective I may bring here might not land with a lot of the listeners.
No, mate,
It's
go for
quite,
it.
more of like a spiritual approach. But the way in which I view this is that to be successful in the external world and whatever it is you're trying to do, you're going to have to spend time being alone. That doesn't mean you have to be lonely. So if you're not able, I should say, to sit in a room and put yourself in a box for a year and just get to work and not speak to any of your friends and not speak to your family much and not have a girlfriend and do all that shit and just lock yourself in and just fucking do the work. If you can't do that and also at the same time process your emotions, you will crumble and you won't be able to last and you will feel lonely. Now, if you do have the capacity to sit with yourself and as you're going through all of those ups and downs without an outlet to speak to people around you, even though you're technically alone, because you can tap into your own emotions and you can tap into, again, depending upon who you are as a person, if you can tap into a spiritual realm, you'll be in a space where you don't feel alone at all. You actually feel deeply connected to everything around you, even if you don't interact with people on a day-to-day basis.
There's a book that I read called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, and he has a quote that reads, "If you become friends with yourself, you'll never be alone."
Exactly.
And I think
that's
the reason I went to Milan on my own. And I don't know why I went to Milan. For anyone who's listening, it was just the cheapest flight. I was in uni and I was like, as soon as I read this line in the book, I was like, I want to go on holiday on my own. I want to actually experience it, because my whole life has been kind of fulfilling other people's needs. When I honestly think about it, I feel like it has, and that's why I feel like I'm passionate talking about it now. How, like you just said, I completely agree with what you're saying, but I think there's some people out there who are listening and think, I don't want to fucking do that. I'm just going to be a loner, sit in my room and do work, but they don't understand the positive benefit that comes from actually spending time in your own head, because you are with yourself 24 hours of the day, 365 days of the year until you die. Like, you wake up, you see yourself in the mirror, you see yourself on your phone when you open up your Face ID, you're in the car, you see yourself in the mirror, you're talking to yourself having conversations in your own head all of the time. If you're not happy with your own relationship with yourself, you're fucked. You're completely fucked. You need to sort that out. That's step number one when it comes to anything. Like, someone comes for a transformation, like you said, before you even talk about, oh yeah, we're going to get you in this shape, why do you want to do it? Why are you coming to me for coaching? Why do you want to get in shape? What's the reason? Like, as good as it is to say, oh yeah, this is the price, you can pay me this. That's not the reason. I want to help you. Why do you want to get in shape? Is there a holiday in mind? Okay, cool, let's get you in shape for that holiday. So then when you book another holiday, you'll want to look good again. But don't just come to me and say, oh, I just want to get in shape because I want to put it on my Tinder profile or I want to post it on Instagram. There needs to be a real motivation. Even if it is, like we've spoken about, just to improve yourself and develop better habits. Look, I want to get in shape because I want to be better with my nutrition. I want to be better at work. I want to be more positive. And I know that it's going to help me increase dopamine or serotonin when I train. That's why I want to train. Figure that out first before you set a goal. Don't just set a goal willy-nilly because somebody on YouTube said, you should become a Forex trader. Actually find out what you want your life to look like. And like going off what you're saying, I think people definitely need to spend time alone and integrate their emotions and become more emotionally intelligent. And like, for yourself, what has been the biggest form of education, or what's been the biggest scenario in your life that's caused you to become more emotionally intelligent?
So the funny thing with emotional intelligence, you can't learn it. Everyone already has it. Everyone knows it. It's already innate to every single human. You just got to remember it. So one of my meditation teachers, at the end of, like, I've meditated for years, but at the end of one of his courses, he was just like, that was fun, isn't it? He said, that was fun, wasn't it? And everyone was just like, yeah. And just like, so you guys have just paid me for me to tell you something you already know. And it's like, we were all just like, shit, yeah, because any level of peace or any level of clarity that you come to through meditation or through spending time with yourself, it doesn't feel foreign. It feels like you've been here before. It's just over the years, society and fucking Instagram and TikTok and school and blah, 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 they all condition us to think differently, and we lose connection with ourselves. And our brains just get filled with shit all the time.
And with social media as well.
And we forget how to be ourselves. So it's like the thing... I can't remember exactly what the question was, but did you say how... Was there
did
any
you become
key
emotionally
education?
intelligent?
it was literally just spending time with myself and remembering what it is to actually be a human.
Yeah.
Which sounds a bit mad, but when we're in a space of where just the mind's just completely filled all the time, and you find the capacity to be actually deeply at peace and deeply centered, it's like it just you when you're in that space, you have maximal emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
You know what to do.
Yeah.
You feel like there's nothing that you don't know. Like you just there's an all-knowingness to it. You just know everything, which sounds, it'll sound stupid to someone who's watching this who doesn't understand or has never accessed that for a while. But when you're in that space, there's nothing you don't know.
100%.
You'll know how to handle every situation in your life.
Yeah. And even if you don't, you'll figure out that you don't know. And then that's where it's like, shit, I need to make a change.
Yeah.
And meditation, like you said, some people will be listening now and thinking, oh, you're hippie, you're just going to be sitting there with your fingers crossed and floating around in your room on some magic carpet. But meditation is something I've tried. And at first I thought the exact same thing. I thought, why would I want to do that? But people will try it and they'll think, this is shit. I've just sat here for 10 minutes and I've just been thinking about all these mad thoughts. But they're the thoughts that you need to deal with. Yeah. And then, do you know what I mean? That's why you're having those thoughts. Because I think of it as like your email list. You've got 500 unread emails. Yeah. You sit down for 5-10 minutes and you think about nothing. You'll just open these emails and you'll be going through them, whether that's, oh, I need to go and take the chicken out of the freezer. Whether it's, I don't know why people have chicken in the freezer, I don't know if people do. Whether it's, I don't know, I need to go and send that check in to someone, or I need to reply to that WhatsApp message, or I need to make sure that I've got this post ready for tomorrow on Instagram. I might not be giving the most relatable scenarios here for some people who have different roles, but that's like for myself. I'm opening these unread emails constantly when I'm sat there and I'm thinking, why have I not dealt with these before? And then once I've got through them all and I sit there and I might be 10 minutes in and I'm like, right, quite peaceful now.
Yeah.
And then the next time I do it, it's the same again. I'm just going through all these thoughts that have been caught up in, like you said, in the moment when you're working or when you're busy and you're on your phone and you don't realise that they're actually in your head. And then because you get into that state where you're at peace with what's going on and you actually got a clear mind and you're thinking about nothing, when a thought like that comes the next time, you know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
It's like, this has happened before. I know what I'm doing now. You're not just getting dragged from pillar to post of, different scenarios and the way that it makes you feel. And like you say, when we talked about motivation to the gym, like now you just turn up and you go to the gym. No matter what you're feeling, whether it's sad, angry, depressed, or even if you're buzzing, you still go to the gym.
Yeah, 100%.
It just might be a better session.
I think one of the things that you learn from meditation is that you're not your feelings. You're not your emotions. You recognise there's a distinct difference between you.
That's so true.
And the random thoughts that pop into your head because you're actually observing the mind. So like you might just wake up one day and you just feel a bit fucking sad. Sometimes you might feel angry. Sometimes you might feel happy. And there's no reason. And the more you observe the mind and pay attention to that, the easier it is to divorce yourself from emotion. So you can wake up and feel like absolute shit and just like, don't know why I feel like shit. And you just almost breathe through the emotion and it just dissipates and you just go and do what you're supposed to do anyway.
Yeah.
And so, but going back to what you were saying there about all the thoughts that might pop into your head, I think from I don't know what's going on in your life.
Yeah.
But some people will have deeply troubling thoughts that will pop into their head and they have to escape from it immediately.
Yeah.
So because there's childhood trauma, they got abused as a kid, got drug addictions, they've got all sorts of madness going on in their life. When they sit down for that 10 minutes, it's so painful that they can't sit there.
Yeah.
And so they bury it. They go, oh fuck, this meditation shit, I didn't like that.
That's
and then they never do it again. So that thought never gets opened. It never gets dealt with.
Yeah.
And it just sits in the back of their mind, eating at them forever. And then creates negative behaviour patterns because they're not dealing with their shit. And then they get to 50 and have a mental breakdown. And so it's like the thing that I would say about meditation for anyone who's like felt deeply uncomfortable with it, it's like recognise that it's not supposed to feel comfortable. You're training yourself to be able to have courage to sit in the mind and process the difficult shit.
So I hope you enjoyed this clip. It's just a little insight into my new podcast called The New Renaissance. If you want to check out the full episode, they'll be linked on YouTube or Spotify. Please subscribe on YouTube and please follow on Spotify and give me any feedback on the episodes that you listen to.